welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest on the cold spell that is arriving through today into tomorrow, bringing bitterly cold conditions for all and some snow for quite a few, and potentially some significant snow for some as well. We'll run through what's going on at the moment with the live radar. We'll look at the weather warnings, as we do have snow and ice warnings issued for many areas through the next few days. We'll look at the UKV, look at the precipitation and the temperature. We'll run through the arpege, have a look at the precipitation and the icon run as well. As pretty typical with the short range models, when we get very unstable flow like this, there's a lot of heavy showers, wintry showers those are, and small little systems, and even at sort of the 24-hour time frame, the models don't quite agree with the exact positioning and exact precipitation type with some of these little systems. So we're going to run through what they're showing today, but by no means is this gospel. It is going to be different than this in reality. It is very much a nowcast situation. Keeping an eye on the radar and the weather warnings as well. After that, we'll have a look at the longer range, look at the GFS, GEM, ECMWF and the ensembles. It's looking likely this cold spell will probably cease around Thursday or Friday time. It will probably remain cold into the weekend with higher pressure building in, but briefly with milder air masses pushing in after that, and it does look likely in the longer term we're going to be sat more under higher pressure, which is a good thing. It means drier conditions for all, and of course with the flooding issues down in the west and the southwest over the last couple of weeks, those should ease a little bit. There are signs perhaps of colder weather returning in the longer term, but again nothing concrete at this stage, but we'll explore that in the second half of the video. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So if we do start on the live radar, you can see there are plenty of showers at the moment, and the wind direction is coming in from a northerly now. If we head further southwards, you can see we've got quite a few showers around, some of these quite heavy, a bit of a cold front stretched here through the Republic of Ireland, parts of Wales, northern England, the North Midlands into East Anglia, and again it's quite patchy with a bit of wintriness over the higher ground, but it is just introducing us to slightly colder air. The proper cold air is going to be engaging from Scotland. You can see the wintry showers starting to break out here in a very unstable cold air mass, and that's where the proper cold air is coming in. Anything in that air will be falling as snow inland, and that is spreading southwards. And you can see further southwards we have this smaller system through southwest England. Now, again, this is a small little low pressure system. This is an example of one of these small systems that could develop throughout the next few days. It's very localized, covering quite a small area, but within it it's very intense precipitation. Now, if this had fallen as snow, you'd be expecting 5 to 10 centimetres under some of these brighter colours here. And again, that's the big difficulty we've got. Smaller systems like this could be 50, 100 miles further westwards, further eastwards, further southwards, further northwards, and all the models have slightly different positioning. And this is why it's almost impossible at the moment to be saying exactly where we're going to be seeing any wintriness and exactly how much we're going to see. We can only really assess the risks because a lot of the systems that will bring snow are on these small scales, or will be other showers that again are very difficult to pinpoint. But this is developing at the moment, and over the course of this evening, this general area of instability is going to push further eastwards, and we're going to see some quite heavy rain, potentially maybe even some snow overnight tonight into the far southeast. Again, not expecting anything too crazy, simply because that cold air is still too far northwards to really engage with it properly, but we are still cold towards the surface, still low single digits, evaporative cooling. Within that, over some of the higher ground towards southeast England, we could see some falling wet snow, and maybe some temporary accumulations, but not expecting anything too major. If we wanted a major snow event, this precipitation had to have been pushed slightly further inland, and we'd have to have seen that colder air engage with it a little bit more, as we were seeing in the models a few days ago, but they have backed off from that. So you can see at the moment nothing too much going on. A few showers around, some heavier rain at times, and some wintriness starting to push in. But over the course of the next 24 hours, by the time we're updating this tomorrow, all of these showers will be starting to fall as snow. Now, if you put on the temperatures, I'm recording this around 11 a.m, so a little bit earlier in the day, and you can see it is turning colder out there. None of these darker or sort of more opaque yellows around, really. A lot more of these blues and lighter blues moving in, and we'll be all into these lighter blues, which are pretty much exclusive of the higher ground at the moment, and that will be pushing in. and that's where temperatures will be toward the low single digits, if not towards freezing. And over the course of today, the temperature's not going to rise much above this. You'd think by 2-3 p.m. we'd reach a peak temperature, but because the air is cooling down, any impact the sun has on the temperatures really will just hold it around that sort of 5 or 6 degree mark that we're at the moment. So yeah, the temperatures at the moment are pretty chilly out there. Pretty strong blustery winds. It's going to make it feel like pretty cold, but it's only going to get colder over the course of the next 24 hours before the bitterly cold air arrives through Monday into Tuesday and lasts all the way to pretty much the end of the working week. Now, if you go over to the weather warnings, we have got multiple warnings issued. Again, the Met Office are going to be quite precautionary with this. As I said, it's very difficult to forecast the exact positioning of any winteriness and any showers, so we're going to see warnings issued perhaps in advance, but be quite widespread and quite vague, or we could see warnings issued at a very short notice, a bit more specified. So we've got this snow and ice warning through northern Scotland that we looked at yesterday. It's from 2 p.m. today until 10 a.m. on Wednesday. Again, I won't go through this in too much detail, but you can see perhaps 10 to 15 centimetres above 200 metres and a few centimetres at lower levels as well. And again, very unpredictable because it's mostly from showers. High likelihood, lower end of the impact. And that lasts, as I said, all the way through to Wednesday. Now, we've got a different warning issued for parts of Northern Ireland, Northern England, parts of North Wales, even stretching perhaps into the parts of the North Midlands here from 6 p.m. tonight until 10 a.m. tomorrow. Now, it says here, quite vaguely, icy surfaces are expected to develop following wintry showers, leading to some travel conditions, difficult travel conditions. And again, this was issued about an hour ago. Wintry showers are expected to develop across Northern Ireland, Wales and Western England during Sunday afternoon and evening, extending east across southern Scotland and the raid of Northern England and Central England. Clear skies in the night are expected to lead to ice developing on untreated surfaces. Showers will mainly fall as rain at lower levels, but could turn to snow in heavier or more prolonged showers, resulting 2 to 5 centimetres in places above 100 to 200 metres, for example, western Northern Ireland, Cumbria, Pennines and North Wales. Now, quite a few areas in here are around 100 metres of elevation in around that point. So, by this, a lot of these areas could be seeing fairly moderate snowfall amounts perhaps tonight. But the reason why the warning's only ice, and it's quite a vague warning, is because it's really difficult to pinpoint where these showers will be and how organised they will be. As we'll see from the precipitation charts in a minute from the various high-resolution runs, you'll be able to see that some of them are forecasting perhaps quite a major snow event in places, maybe 5 centimetres plus, where the showers do hold on. Others just showing a bit of rain or the showers petering out before they get anywhere inland, and that's why it's impossible really to put anything more than just a blanket ice warning issued. Because even if we did see rain, this warning would cover the ice that would form from that, and this also does cover any smaller accumulations as well. But if we did see an organised area of snow develop tonight, I wouldn't be surprised to perhaps see a snow warning issued somewhere within here. Most likely, from looking at the latest models, through Northern England into the North Midlands, more towards that sort of northwest area in general, but again, further inland and more likely over the higher ground. Now, those are the two warnings we have at the moment, and they last until Tuesday for the ice warning and snow and ice until Wednesday, but I do expect to see more warnings issued as we have more certainty with snow events that could happen. We're watching area in the southwest and southern England through Tuesday and Wednesday, areas in the north and the east. So if we do now go over to the UKV and have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the course of the next 5 days. Now you can see that precipitation band heading southwards this morning, and you see that small area of showers in the southwest. Again, doesn't look anything too significant on this UKV run, but in reality, where those showers are lingering, a lot of heavy rain is falling, and over the course of the next few days, that similar system would produce a lot of heavy snow. So, again, that's why it's so difficult to forecast these small little systems. As we head through this afternoon, that rain will slowly progress away, and then we can see that instability in the far southwest really pepping up, and we see this low pressure system come in. Now, if you focus on that southeast pass, you can see heavy rain pushes in, turning a bit to snow in places. Again, over the higher ground of southeast England, maybe the northern extent of this precipitation band may get into parts of Essex and maybe into the greater London area. But again, most likely will be falling as rain with temperatures around that 2, 3, 4 degree mark. And again, under the heaviest spells over higher ground, there could be some falling snow, but not expecting anything more than that. Now, further northwards, as I said, with those showers with that ice warning, you can see this band of precipitation. Now, a lot of these showers are quite patchy but heavy within the core of the showers, and they are turning to snow over inland areas and especially higher ground overnight tonight. But you can see it does pivot and it holds precipitation over a few areas for a number of hours. So I wouldn't be surprised in these areas to perhaps see some accumulating snow. And it is quite a widespread area, again, through North Wales, or initially Northern Ireland, North Wales, North West England, to central Northern England, and into the parts of the North Midlands as well, seeing these showers. And again, really has to see how organised this system does get. It looks very similar on the UKV here to that system in the southwest at the moment, which is producing quite a lot of heavy rain in a localised area. Imagine if that all fell as snow. So again, we'll have to see what happens. The UKV here does turn it to snow. Again, that's over the higher ground, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does fall to low-lying areas and give us sort of a wintry mix or some heavy wet snow in places overnight tonight. So we'll have to see. Beyond that, those showers do sort of peter away, and eventually, by Monday morning, a few showers down the east coast, but most of those still rain and maybe a wintry mix inland. You can see the real instability moving into Scotland, where we've got those snow and ice warnings issued, and that's where the really cold air starts to push in. And that cold air is in for all of us through Monday afternoon. You see a lot of snow actually through southern Ireland with this northwesterly wind, and again lots of showers pushing into parts of Northern Ireland, Scotland, maybe into northwest England as well. Beyond that, through Monday evening, it's a pretty inactive day for central, southern and eastern areas, but things will get a little bit more exciting for snow potential through Tuesday into Wednesday. Now watch what happens through Monday night into Tuesday. Rain out towards the sea, but inland, perhaps snow across parts of southern Wales, southwest England, and into central southern England. Again, it's one of these systems that, to be honest, we have exactly no clue how it's going to develop. But here it is showing quite heavy precipitation and perhaps heavy snow inland through Tuesday morning. And again, it looks quite reminiscent to that snow event we saw in early December. Again, it's not pushing as far inland as that event did, but this could get some very significant snow for central southern England, maybe even extending into the London area. And by this time, the ground is frozen, so anything falling out of the sky would start to accumulate, at least on grassy surfaces, cars and elevated surfaces, and perhaps even onto roads and tarmac as well. So could cause some disruption, this little small event, but as we'll see with the other models in a minute, they're not all showing it. Beyond that, we do see that precipitation pull away, and then we see another potential snow event through North Wales. We see a lot of showers pushing in, and then a area of precipitation moving in from Scotland through Northern England, North Midlands, down into central southern England. Again, it looks like a disorganised area of showers, but enhanced showers, and again, could drop a few centimetres of snow through Wednesday morning in places. And again, we'll have to keep an eye on this as the models are pretty unsure with how it does develop. Before eventually, through Wednesday evening, those showers pull away. Could see some wintry showers down the east coast, but eventually that northerly flow gets cut off, and we see weather fronts starting to approach from the west by Friday, and that does introduce milder air, but it could see a bit of snow on its leading edge, and it does look like the higher pressure will build in as this weather front is squeezed out. Now, if we do look at the max temperatures for the next few days, run through these quite quickly as they haven't really changed since yesterday, and you can see today widely sort of 5 to 7 degrees, if not colder, especially further northwards and westwards, and again, not feeling that mild at all. Overnight tonight, temperatures will drop away, but around midnight, the areas where we could see a bit of wintriness for Northern England, Southern England, those temperatures are hovering around 2 to 4 degrees. And that's why it's quite uncertain whether we will see wintriness. Again, all depends on how quickly that cold air does filter in. So there could be some wintriness in places, but I wouldn't guarantee that. As if we head into Monday, those temperatures won't rise much from those overnight temperatures, really. Temperatures widely 2 to 4 degrees, colder further northwards below freezing as that real cold air does take over. And then Monday night, all areas down to sort of -5 degrees for overnight. And again, that's going to give us a real hard overnight frost. And then the following days, anything falling out of the sky will be easily snow and potentially settling as well. For Tuesday, look at that, temperatures hardly above freezing to 2 degrees in the afternoon, and overnight temperatures widely down to -5 again, and through Wednesday afternoon, again, not getting much above freezing, maybe 0 to 2 degrees, and then once again, through into Thursday morning, widely below freezing, and into Thursday afternoon, still very cold, For central areas, 2 to 4 degrees, but it's turning slightly milder. Overnight, below freezing once again, before the milder air does start to sweep in for Friday. Now, if you look at the arpege and see what that's showing for precipitation over the course of the next 3 days, now you can see those showers in the southwest pushing in, giving us an area of heavy rain and maybe a bit of snow, but again, arpege not showing any snow here. It's very similar positioning to the UKV, and those showers through northern England showing quite heavy snow inland, but further northwards than the UKV was showing, through more southern Scotland and northern England instead of North Wales, North Midlands and southern parts of northern England. So yeah, very interesting, and we'll have to see how that does develop. Through Monday, again, the main risk will be showers further northwards and westwards, but as we head into Tuesday, that system could push into the far southwest, not pushing into central southern England here, and that stays offshore, so no snow there. And you can see only a couple day lead time. Very subtle differences in positioning can give drastically different conditions towards the surface. And as we head into Wednesday, still showers in the normal northerly wind directions. Could see some more enhanced snow through northern England, and then we start to see that area of snow move through in Scotland. And again, we'll have to see that interacts as it moves down the spine of the country. Again, could drop a few centimetres in places. If you compare it to the icon run, see how that does develop. Again, overnight tonight, you see the heavy rain in the far south east could turn to snow, and you can see through northern England and the North Midlands, more in line with the UKV in terms of producing snow inland, and a bit of wintry mix towards low-lying areas and towards coastal areas as well through early tomorrow morning. Beyond that, eventually it's a generally dry day, and then we see that snow in the far south, but staying just offshore, further northwards in the arpege, but not coming inland like the UKV had. So again, 3 different scenarios, all giving very different outcomes. Here, we may see some snow clipping the far south coast. Beyond that, through Tuesday into Wednesday, you can see that area of snow out in the North Sea. The other models had that coming inland, and today, from the icon, it doesn't come anywhere near inland. So, big outlier compared to the arpege and the UKV, but I wouldn't be surprised if either outcome came off. And beyond that, as we head into Thursday, you can see just plenty of wintry showers before eventually rain does spread in from the west. I have found when looking at colder spells with the icon that it sometimes does have bad positioning of showers, and it does sort of reduce their intensities as they move inland, and in actual fact they do hold on to their intensities and their organisation. So I would take this run with a little bit of a pinch of salt with that. So if we do now have a look at the longer range, go across and have a look at the GFS, GM, ECMWF and the ensembles. Again, I want to keep this quite short and concise as we have spent a lot of time looking at the wintriness this upcoming week. Now you can see the northerly winds coming at the moment, that low pressure system towards the southeast. Again, exact positioning still a little bit uncertain, but we don't think it's going to be a major snow event. It could surprise us, but I think that's a very low chance. Beyond that, we stay in the northerly wind and little disturbances moving down there, and you can see through Wednesday that disturbance down the North Sea coast. And again, depending on how far inland that comes in, how engaged it gets with that cold air, it depends on how much snow we'll see from that. Beyond that, a westerly flow does come in, but it gets squeezed by higher pressure, and it is a generally westerly flow in the longer run towards the end of January, but it's under higher pressure, so most likely to see a bit of inversion and perhaps slightly colder conditions than you think if this was in a flat westerly under lower pressure. But again, we'll have to see. Some of the runs have it pushing further northwards over the last few days, but it looks like this morning's runs definitely have more of that high pressure over the top of us, keeping us in generally milder air masses, but of course there'd probably be an inversion with that. If you look at the GM, see how that does compare. Again, northerly wind coming in at the moment, loads of little disturbances associated with that, but eventually a westerly flow comes in. Again, a little bit of a low pressure system pulling away there, and that could hold the cold air for another day or two before high pressure builds in. Again, if this high pressure built in maybe 200, 300, 400 miles further northwards, it would probably keep us quite cold, with the cold air mass staying on top of us, a bit of an easterly flow, but because it's centred over the top of us and to our south, yes, we are generally drier and generally settled, but we still are pulling in a westerly flow. Beyond that, right today 10, we still have high pressure over the top of us, but it's sort of poised to see where this high pressure goes, whether it tries to penetrate into the Arctic and tries to build up some northern blocking, or whether it just stays over the top of us. The runs yesterday definitely had it trending more towards Scandinavia, but that looks like they've come off that a little bit today. If we look at the ECMWF, again, a northerly wind at the moment, staying very unsettled and unstable in that flow. And again, high pressure building in, again, with a westerly flow in general, so briefly milder air masses, but under the high pressure, especially towards the southern half of the British Isles, there'll be a bit of an inversion to actually be average or maybe even slightly below average, even though the upper air temperatures will be quite mild. And you can see it is trying to head northwards as high pressure, a bit of blocking appearing towards the North Pole, but again, not expecting anything too major at this stage. If we finish by looking at the ensemble members, GFS ensemble members are just updating, only go out to the next 10 days or so, but again, that's the reliable time frame. You can see it is cold for the next 5 days. Quite a bit of precipitation spikes here for tonight, and again, that's for that low pressure system pushing into the far southeast, and again, big uncertainty whether that actually comes off or not. About 50-50 split here, and again, of those that are producing precipitation, some of them are producing snow, but again, if we do see snow, it most likely will just be falling snow. After that, as we head towards next weekend, around next Friday, Saturday, we see a big rise in upper air temperatures to around average for the time of year, maybe slightly above average, but of course with dry conditions, we're likely to see a bit of an inversion with temperatures around average or below average. And you can see how the pressure does rise in the longer term, trending us much drier. If you look at the ECMWF ensemble members, again, cold over the next sort of 5 or 6 days, and then you can see all the way out to the end of January, average or above average, and lower precipitation than we've seen recently, again indicating that likely to see higher pressure build in, keeping us dry and with perhaps an inversion. But of course, these things in the long range can all change. Again, we've got to get through the next sort of 5, 6, 7 days before we can really say what's going to happen in the longer term. And of course, there are rumblings of a sudden stratospheric warming, and that still looks quite possible, and some would even say quite likely to see at least a disruption of the polar vortex. And again, we'll probably be updating that in the next few days, as that could spice up the conditions into early February. But for the time being, very cold the next 5, 6, 7 days. Quite a bit of winteriness around, especially in the north and the west in terms of showers, and there could be other small disturbances that could give more significant precipitation and snow in places. But again, impossible to pinpoint them at this stage. If you are interested, we've highlighted where there are areas of interest, and if you want to see if it's going to snow for you, you're just going to have a look at the live radar, as that's going to be the best indication of when these systems will move in, if they move in at all. Longer range looks like higher pressure will be building in, and it does look likely to be generally above average air masses, or at least average, but towards the surface I'm expecting average to below average conditions because of an inversion, especially further southwards. But again, things can change. We'll have to see how it does develop. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you keep an eye on the weather warnings, and I'm expecting more to be issued over the coming days. Make sure you stay safe out there. It is going to be bitterly cold, even if you don't see any wind chillers. Those temperatures are going to be very cold widely, and the wind chill is going to feel very cold as well with a really strong northerly wind. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.